and you have cried out. You have cried. The tears have become your meat, as the psalmist say, both day and night. You have cried and you prayed and you cried and you prayed and you cried and you prayed and you cried some more. But I come to encourage you, when you're praying and you're crying, you got to get to a place in God to where you just wait on the Lord, because he sees and he knows, and he's not slack concerning his promise. If he promised you something, you can put your foot on it that you're going to get it. If he said he was going to heal, don't worry, you're going to be healed. If he said he was going to deliver, I don't care what comes, I don't care what goes. Like Job said, though he slay me, yet will I trust him. You got to get to a place in God where you trust him no matter what you see. You trust him no matter what you hear. You trust him no matter what others are saying, no matter what the doctor says, the lawyer says. I got trust and hope in God, and I know that he can do something about it. Come on and put your hands together and praise him. Let me get back to here now. We find that Hannah began to cry, and she cried so much until her lips were moving and nothing was coming out. And here comes Eli, the priest of the house. He comes and he looks at her, and understand, he becomes a little despondent, a little disgusted. What is going on with Hannah? Eli looks at her and says, how long you gonna come to church drunk? Look at what happens here. Eli was in a carnal state, if you don't mind. Now, he could have pulled her straight out of the spirit. Can I park there for a moment? You know, have you ever been in the spirit and you've been praying and you've been talking to God and pouring out your heart? You know how we have those services and everybody is crying and giving God praise, and then somebody tap you on the shoulder, your ride is here. Anybody ever did that? Just pull you flat out the spirit. You going giving God praise. Psst, can I have that $10 offering is coming up? And I need to be. Y'all been there. If you ever been there, let me just hear you say, I've been there. But she had a problem. She had an issue. So even though Eli says, how long you gonna come to church drunk? What is wrong with you? You're drunk. She didn't even let that bother her. She didn't let that pull her out of the spirit. Understand, Eli was a lip watcher instead of a heart perceiver. Even though he was the priest, he was an authority, he was the head, he was in charge. He was sitting there watching her lips instead of perceiving the things that were in her heart. How many times do we often praise people that talk the talk at the expense of those who are quietly walking the walk? You need to grab a neighbor by the hand and tell them, stop watching lips and start discerning hearts. Or do I have a church that want to have a little church today? Understand.